Hello and welcome to the French A-Level presentation. I'm really excited that you are considering doing French A-Level with us here at JCG. So first of all, why learn French? You can see lots of reasons up here. It's one of the most visited countries in the world, biggest economies. It's also one of the most important languages as well. It's one of the working languages of NATO, one of the working languages of the European Union. And current population estimates place French actually as the most widely spoken language by 2050 because of the population boom in Africa. So nobody can deny that from a global perspective, it's a really important language, but of course also from a Jersey point of view as well. It's only 14 miles away. We can see the French coast. And quite frankly, it would be a wasted opportunity not to learn a language that was so close and so influential, not just on our past, but also on our current relationships with the rest of Europe. So as I've already said, French is a really important language in the whole world. It's actually, aside from English, the only language spoken across all 5 continents. And there are lots of countries as well which are observers of the francophonie, the French-speaking world. And of course, the course isn't just focused on France, isn't just focused on the French European countries, but also all over the world wherever French is spoken. We really are trying to build with this A-Level those international interests and also shape our students as global citizens. So what are the topics that we study? So in year 12, we study some of the topics which might feel quite familiar actually to those who have studied the French GCSE course. The focus now of the course is, rather than talking about yourself, it's now talking about that context in the Francophone world. So whereas before at GCSE you would have spoken about you and your family, we're now talking about the changing nature of the family. How does that look different in other Francophone countries? When was it, for example, that same-sex marriage was legalized? Why is it that fewer children are now being born in France? So all of these different and exciting things that we're going to be discussing about, and again, we can observe global trends as well. The cyber society, so with that, we'll look at some French YouTubers, we'll look at some French TikTokers, and we'll look at how the French are using technology. And of course, after the pandemic, there's been a big shift since COVID-19 in how technology is a part of our world. Place of voluntary work. So again, looking into the different organizations in France that young people can sign up to do some volunteering. And we have had students as well. For example, we had a student go to Senegal to join the Jersey Overseas Aid, Senegal being a French-speaking country. So everything that she'd sort of learnt on the course there was really useful for her to go away and to do that. And we've had other students as well express an interest in maybe also working for Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, etc. The other part of the Year 12 course is looking at the culture, so looking at France's heritage, looking at Francophone heritage in general, whether that be tangible, so looking at some of the monuments, some of the arts, some of the architecture around the French-speaking world, and then we look at contemporary Francophone music, see what the trends are. Are there new genres emerging? What is the impact on the culture of French music? And of course, we also look at cinema being invented by the French, by the Lumière brothers. And we explore the different trends that have happened in French cinema, such as the Nouvelle Vague, and continuing on to looking at the current trends with French cinema and French filmmaking at the moment. In Year 13, things get a bit more political. We look at multiculturalism in French society. We look at minority groups in the French-speaking world. And we also look at law and criminality. So far as well, you might be thinking, gosh, this is quite a change from the GCSE. Like I said before, it really is. We really are studying how to become those global citizens, be a part of an international workplace, an international world. And maybe you can see some links as well with maybe some of the other subjects that you're considering studying as well. With law and criminality, we look at things such as the French prison system. We discuss crime and punishment, alternatives to the prison system. We look at countries in the French-speaking world where there is still a death penalty as well. And then we move on to the second big wider topic in Year 13, which is all about political engagement, the right to vote, strikes and demonstrations. Maybe you yourself have been involved in sort of the the chaos that often ensues some of the French strikes to do with transport, and politics and immigration as well. So all of these themes are really well tied together. It's really contemporary. We talk about lots of different things that are currently happening, not just in France, but in the world. And of course, the situation in Calais and how that affects the UK. So also on the course, we study a film. So in year 12, you will study the film La Haine. It's a fantastic film. It was made in 1995, but critics the world over will say how relevant it is still to French society and culture nowadays. We also study in year 13 a bit of literature, some Guy de Maupassant, who is considered one of the best French authors. In fact, if you talk to any French person, they probably will have studied some Maupassant at some point in their schooling or their university, or have just come across Maupassant. You can see the quote at the bottom there. You know, if you love learning, the language A-levels really do respond to you. You know, we're doing history, we're doing politics, we're doing media studies. You will be analysing these films. You will be learning about different camera techniques. You'll notice that the pictures there are in black and white. So why was it filmed in black and white? We'll be exploring all of those things. And of course, literature as well. It's worth pointing out that the literature are short stories. They're very manageable. We compare them, we draw the comparisons, and we also explore the historical context that they were written in as well. So really is, I cannot stress this enough, such an engaging A-level course. It's really fantastic. The team at JCG really enjoy delivering this course. Of course, I really do need to mention about the trips. Every other year, we will run a study trip to Rouen. This destination might possibly change in the future, but students will always stay with host families. They are police checked. We have a fantastic time at a languages school, and we do lots of other different activities. In the past, we've done art galleries, we've done macaron workshops, we've climbed the Eiffel Tower, because we always do a day trip to Paris as well if we're going to Rouen. It's a fantastic experience just to immerse yourself in French for a week. There is also the opportunity to organise your own work experience. We can help you get into contact even with the company that organised that for you. It is an independent trip that runs away from JCG. Going back a few years now, I did it when I was in year 12, but we've had other students express interest in this as well. It's a bit like a mini Project Trident, so you get to decide which field that you're interested in working in. We've had students in the past work in retail, work for museums, working for a tourism board, etc. So the exam breakdown, this is what the different papers look like. So the biggest paper is the listening, reading and writing exam. It's worth 50% of the A-level. It's also the longest paper for the French exam. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes. The listening is so much better than the GCSE in some regards, because you are given control of the listening exam. You are given headphones, and you can listen back and forwards to that track as many times as you want. So it really does give you the control. There's, of course, reading comprehension questions as well. And the writing part of that exam is just translating passages from French to English and English to French. For the paper 2, there's 2 essays, so an hour for each essay. Each essay is based on the film or the book that you've studied, and you get a choice of questions for those as well. And for paper 3, the speaking exam, there are 2 tasks that need to be done. There's the first task, which is completing a speaking card. You get 5 minutes preparation time to prepare that before coming into the exam, bringing your notes in with you. And there's a discussion on a theme. So you might get a card on family. You do have a choice between 2. So you could choose a card on family. You could choose a card on immigration. And then the second part of that is the individual research project, which I will talk to you about now. So that individual research project, I think, is a fantastic way to prepare for university. Students get the choice of whatever they want to talk about anywhere in the Francophone world. So they are able to pick maybe, well, you can see down at the bottom, actually, we've had some students pick the French Revolution, Coco Chanel. Sorry, we can't do La Haine anymore because that is the film that we study, but it could be a different film that was chosen at a time when we weren't studying La Haine. France's role in World War I. We've had students who are interested in music, so they've done Berlioz. You really can do it on anything to do with the French-speaking world. So maybe if there's another topic or another subject that you're studying. It could be something that maybe supports your statement, your personal statement to go to university. But it should ultimately be something that you feel really passionately about. So again, for the speaking exam, that's nice. It just means that you are being asked about something that you've researched for a year. And theoretically, you should be an expert in, and you should feel comfortable discussing that with the examiner. So if you didn't need any more reasons to study a language, you can see some more here. Nobody has ever regretted, as far as I'm aware, learning a language. It really does open many, many doors to you. Employers really do appreciate the skills that you will develop from studying a language. They know how much hard work it takes. They know, although they also know how rewarding it is, but you will be such a valuable asset to their company, to their business. And of course, it's not just about it looking good on the CV. It just brings so much wealth into your own personal life as well. We can see here some of the headlines that have been dominating the press recently. And the fact that there is, unfortunately, a crisis in the UK for learning languages. The UK needs linguists. You need the skills that you have acquired as a linguist. And we can see here that actually there is a big push from the French, and we are no longer the dominant language really in Europe. It's only the Republic of Ireland left. German after that is the most widely spoken language. French, though, is spoken in a number of countries across Europe, of course. So we really do want students to go in well equipped into the future, and French certainly will be one of those skills that drives them. So I hope that that has given you a great insight over the French A-level course. And I hope that if you had any questions, that has certainly answered it. If not, you can get in touch with any of our French colleagues in the department. But we look forward to hopefully you studying French with us for your A-levels. Merci, au revoir.